you came up with this really nice face and smile and stuff, and I was like, oh, he looks so kind. And then you proceeded to call me stupid, and I'm just trying to figure out.
I never called you stupid.
Stupid and emotional.
I never called you stupid.
And I'm just trying to figure out. I had these very nice thoughts about you, and now I'm having very unnice thoughts about you. And I am going to shut my mouth now because I don't enjoy being called stupid nor emotional, because I was not being emotional at all in that moment. I was just stating what I heard. I understood what people were saying, and all I was doing was explaining that and how a conversation is supposed to go. That's all I did. Now I am going to keep my unkind thoughts to myself. Since you have been so unkind, I will leave you to do that by yourself.
All right. Okay, Bo. Let me say this. I apologize if you took offense to that. That was not directed to you.
It's not an apology.
Damn,
that's not an apology.
Sweeney.
Yo, what up?
I just think we the A side, so I kind of expect it. Like people, like when you view the A side, people tend to talk about you more. You know, so it's not alarming to me, or I'm not surprised by the fact that it happens so often.
No, we're not normalizing disrespect no more. That era of us looking up.
You muted yourself, Marcus.
I was gonna say, and the reason why. You want to know the reason why we used to entertain that conversation? Because we are arguably one of the most inclusive groups, because a lot of people delineate a whole lot when it comes to their stuff. We were all inclusive. We invited people in to be like, hey, look, y'all can kick it amongst us. We can have conversations. But what we noticed is there, like, and I don't normally use the word tether, but the definition of the word tether is any African, Caribbean, Black, British, or Canadian person who copies or imitates or appropriates Black culture, but then also tries to disrespect that culture when it comes to being amongst other groups, especially white people. That's
like calling us hoes, saying somebody a pimp and calling us some hoes, like that type of disrespectful shit.
So like that's where, and the reason why that word tether has became so popular is because Black people are starting to delineate and say, you know what? At one point, we did try to include y'all. We did try to open up our doors to y'all. But then what we noticed is here come all the disrespect, and now we're closing the door on that. Because if this same conversation happened 15, 20 years ago, hell, even 8 years ago, you wouldn't see nearly as many people get upset about it. But now, because we're recognizing, like, oh, okay, we see what's going on now. We're not allowing it anymore.
All right. So I think the confusion for me, just to be clear, is that I was under the impression that we're having a discussion, an intellectual discussion about a topic. What I'm hearing is a lot of people getting offended and in their feelings and really making a lot of emotional statements. That's all I hear is a bunch of triggered Black men on the panel. Mr. White triggered, Sweeney triggered. You hear what you want to hear, and you're not hearing for understanding.
I think you're a bad
I'm really
father.
confused, you guys.
I think you're a bad father. I think you're a bad father.
I think you're homosexual.
Okay. So, anyways, like I was saying before,
no.
I see a bunch of men on here triggered.
Let's have a conversation about you.
I think he said pussy.
We're talking about. Fellas, listen, fellas.
No,
if we're gonna try to be
intellectual conversation
let's have
about real Nathan Daly.
You want to change? Do you want to change the topic?
Yes, we're gonna have a conversation about you.
So how about we ask the person whose channel this is if he wants us to change the topic? Be respectful.
I'm sure he's okay with it.
People. No, be respectful to the people. This is a topic.
I'm very good friends.
Am I confused?
With us discussing.
No, you're fine with disrespecting this man's channel, right?
Well, Nathan, I think what they're trying to illustrate the.
I know what they're trying to do. And it's poor taste, right?
Yeah.
So
it's
again,
not poor taste.
It is poor taste
because
it's
not poor taste. It's literally holding the mirror up to you. You said, it's okay to be disrespectful as long as we have an intellectual conversation.
No one said that.
When did I say that? Let's be disrespectful then and have an intellectual conversation.
Exactly. That's the point that we make.
Is it only poor taste when it's an individual versus a group of people?
But nothing that you guys did was accurate of what happened on that panel. It's completely different. You chose to hear what you heard. You chose to filter the way you want to filter, which is fair. That's your right. But it's still not consistent in what was happening. They had conversations, and again, it's like this is what I'm speaking from. Again, being a Black American, conversations like this should not, in my opinion, arrive at anger, disrespect. We shouldn't be attacking each other. We should be intellectual enough to converse.
Well, who's defining disrespect? Who's defining disrespect? Truth. Who's defining disrespect?
Well, my boy NY
said, OG.
Sweetie said it was disrespectful. You even said it was disrespectful, and Kiana gave her depiction of what she believed to be true, and you totally derailed her opinion. Which so
with you saying that, then do Mr. White or Sweetie has the right to say this what they said and say let's make it one-on-one? Do he have the right to do that? And you call that out as being disrespect?
They have the right to state that it's disrespectful, but what I believe we were trying to do is trying to identify where. There was no offense to the Black culture as sense of saying this is wrong, you this, you that. That's not what it's
disrespectful.
But is that your opinion or how they took it?
No. It's my opinion because there was no.
So if that's wait a minute. If that's your opinion, True, then Mr. White has an opinion. Sweetie has an opinion. What they thought the conversation was about. So, well, now we just all like buttholes. We got opinions. So I'm saying is how you go take one opinion of what they consider disrespect over another. So when he wanted to make it personal towards Nathan, then now it's all disrespect. But you talking about a group of people who was talked about and someone felt like it was disrespect, but you don't see that. You only see it when it's an individual.
I don't see it because there was nothing that I derived from his commentary that was disrespectful.
Okay, you going back to what you feeling now.
Have no culture.
You going back to what you feeling now.
Yeah, true. He's saying simply, I think this is Black culture. SMD is equivalent to Black people don't have no culture. I don't need to hear nothing else you got to say. If me and Sweeney arguing, he say, "Yo, suck my," it gotta go down. So essentially, they saying Black people don't have no culture. It's lit after that. You see that's
it's
pretty
up
much
after that. We ain't got shit else to talk about.
Like that's what I hear.
Hey man, listen. I knew there was something off about my boy M White, man, just because he was real quippy, and I know certain guys like that, man. I've been around. I grew up around a bunch of guys like that, right? Somewhat intelligent. I ain't gonna say he fully intelligent, right? Or guys like that are fully intelligent, man, but they are quick on their feet, man, and very quippy, right? Very quick on, very quick in a lot of their responses, especially when it comes down to something just being negative, right? When you saw some of his videos, he kind of gave that off to some degree, right? But for the most part, I was just like, what, I'm still ride with bro, right? But I mean, here we are. We're able to see how Sweeney and how your boy M White are just some disingenuous, emotional brothers, man. Like, God, dog, can we just have the argument? And this is where we now are going to pretty much transition over into something else, right? That has nothing to do with the culture, right? It has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. They're pretty much upset because, hey, well, listen, we are taking this as disrespect. We feel like this is disrespect when it's really just people having a conversation. I mean, he literally prove his point, and True brought up this, I want to say about a video or two ago, right, in this little series that we have, because this is an ongoing series, guys. I hope y'all know that, right? But I mean, True brought it up before that, man, listen, when we have these type of conversations, it rubs people the wrong way. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable, and a lot of people in our culture and our community, they get upset and they then divert the conversation over to something else. Like, they just take away from the conversation, and it gets really irritating, because it's like, where do we go from here? How can we grow if all we're going to do is just sit here and cry and complain over small stuff, right? If we look at everything as disrespect. Once again, for M White and Sweeney, what does him having to be playing for the other team or being a bad father have to do with anything, right? But of course, right, and as Nathan was saying, right, he understands why they're doing what they're doing, right? So they could try to illustrate a point, and it's just like, once again, we get your point, right? But the point is, what you're trying to say has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. We're talking about the conversation, and y'all sitting over here trying to put your feelings in it. And that's all we're saying. Keep your feelings out of it. And this is my issue that I have with FBAs. A lot of FBAs, man. Like, I don't have issues with FBAs, right? But I have an issue with how a lot of them like take it above and beyond. They just take stuff too far. They take stuff way too far. They live in perpetual victimhood. Like they just love being victims. They just love to be victims. And it's tough because it's like they argue in bad faith. They argue in bad faith and then they try to get back you in the corners. And this is like, come on, bro. Like once again, this stuff is weak. This stuff is very feminine that they're doing. And then to answer OG's question, why does one opinion matter more than the other, is because if one opinion is based off of logic and the other opinion is based off of emotions, which opinion are you going to want to run with? What you're a grown man. Which opinion are you going to run with? Are you going to run with one that's based off of logic and that's actually to the point? Or are you going to be cool with an opinion, man, that has something to do with emotions and has nothing to do with the point, right? And this is my issue that I have with FBAs, because they are a lot of these guys are hypocrites. A lot of these guys will move the goalposts. A lot of these guys will move the goalposts. A lot of these guys will contradict themselves. And it's just sad. It's just sad because once again, it's just like, how can we get somewhere? It becomes an issue when we try to have these discussions, but we have people like Sweeney and M. White when they're constantly stating opinions. Now I ain't gonna really say M. White, but when you talk about Sweeney, when you have somebody who is just constantly feeling like they're disrespected, that's female traits, bro. That's female traits, and that's the issue when it comes down to opinions. Because how can we have a discussion if every time we were supposed to sit here and exchange opinions, the second you say something that he dislikes, it's met with automatic quote unquote disrespect, and then you don't want to have the conversation, and now we're moving away from the conversation. That's the issue. That's why, man, one opinion is better than the other. While one opinion is more important than the other. Like I said, some of these FBA brothers are worse than fucking women. I promise to you, bro. Some of these men are worse than goddamn women. And this is like, bro, like, come on, man. And then, right, and here's the thing, right? They literally prove True's point. They literally prove Nathan's point, right? When we sit here and have these conversations, right? DJ Hemp just kind of summed it up and said, man, listen, pretty much what M. White is saying and what Sweeney is saying, if they perceive something as disrespect, they will automatically meet it with disrespect. So now, hey, we're going to go away from the conversation and now we're just going to take it somewhere else. And then and to me, that's just a weak mindset and a weak tactic, because that means anybody can do that. I could literally be having a simple conversation with you guys, but the second I feel like you disrespecting me in any kind of way when that's not even your intentions, and hell, and I may know that's not your intentions, but hey, because I'm losing the argument, I'm gonna just throw that in there. It's just quick to play victim, and that's literally what Sweeney and M. White is doing. Let's continue.
That would be different from person to person, though. It's going to be different person to person. They're in a setting that's intentionally made to have a discussion about a topic. Whether we like what the basis of that topic is or not does not deny the fact that that's what it's for. So there's different boundaries than saying a man is the B word than it is to sit in a place where you ultimately, the intention is to have a discussion. That doesn't mean you have to like the topic nor the opinion attached to it. It's a media discussion just as we're having here.
As I stated before, how can we even get anywhere with that mindset from M. White and Sweeney? As DJ Hemp said, what is listen, you want to sit here and you want to get upset because you may take something as disrespect, and that's what everybody, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Now we are sitting here having a full live therapy session where we have to have a sister regulate this shit. Bro, people, like, what are we talking about? We have to have a woman have a therapy section and regulate a situation so we can sit here and validate two grown ass men's feelings. That's ridiculous to me, bro. That is ridiculous to me. This is goddamn embarrassing, bro. This is goddamn embarrassing. And these brothers want to call themselves leaders.
Yeah,
100%. Is it okay?
Excuse me.
Is it okay?
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
That's Bo.
If the intention is to have a discussion, then you would not enter the discussion saying Black people don't have culture. You would say, I don't feel like, or I don't see where Black Americans have a culture. Like, you insert your opinion in that way and not make an assertion, not prescribe these people that they have nothing. That automatically puts someone under the fence. That is not how you have a discussion. He is making the charge that we don't have a culture. That you shut it down already. That is why it's up. That is why it is seen as disrespect. it is not disrespectful to be like, I don't understand how Black Americans could have a culture. I don't see that Black Americans have, like, that's something that's opinion based. That's like, this is how I feel. You don't just point the finger and be like, y'all ain't got no culture. That's it. That's all. You have shut the conversation completely down. There is nothing after that. So I don't like, I get what y'all are saying, but y'all are not getting what they are saying. You can't, there is no conversation in that.
But that's not
there's a conversation. They were having it.
That's not what occurred.
Yeah,
there was not.
Context. That's not what occurred. They asked him a question. He answered the question. So we are replying off the clip, which is fair. I get it.
You know, that's not the first time he said that, right?
No. But I'm just giving credence to context that he didn't. You both just explaining the rules of exchange, and we get that. I totally understand. If you come out the gate and you're attaching tags and negative ones, absolutely, I wouldn't expect anybody to entertain or welcome malice into their realm. But that's not what occurred, and so maybe because it's a clip, it's not fair. But he was asked a question, he gave his opinion, and again,
here's the other thing, right? He came to have the discussion with a group of people who are willing to have the conversation with him. Someone platformed him, right? That's another thing. So again, he carries himself as an intellect. He wants to have a conversation. You guys are arguing about the topic of the conversation. It's here's the thing. I understand if you take offense to it, bless your heart. Okay, here's the reality of it though. Just because he has an opinion, just like you guys come on these platforms and you drag out your little opinions all day and night, and some of y'all not even educated enough to have the opinions that you do have, but you make them anyways, right? So again, just like y'all do it about women, Black women shouldn't do this, Black men shouldn't do that. I hear it all the time. So don't lead with the, I don't like the way you said the question, or I don't like the way you asked, I don't like the way you presented the topic. That's irrelevant. None of you guys live by that concept at all. I see these clips. I hear how y'all make statements. You don't think about the person's feelings in mind when you make your point. Okay, so come on, this is Lapeef's channel. I've seen it all. I've seen it all over here. None of y'all take the time to think about, I wonder how this Black man's gonna feel when I state how I feel about being a woman. I wonder how this Black woman's gonna feel when I state about these issues. So please miss me with that. All right. Your concern right now, Bo, what you're talking about, you're saying, I don't like the way he said it. I don't like the way he said it. If he should have said it differently, irrelevant. The man said what he said. You take offense to it. I respect that. No one is saying that what he said wasn't disrespectful. What I'm saying is he's having a conversation. He's trying to have an intellectual conversation. You don't like the conversation. That's completely fine. That's completely fine. What I'm saying is take the emotions out of it. He's wrong, right? I said that when I came up here. He's wrong, and his definition of culture, I do not agree with. He also said, he made a statement and said that Creole is not a language. That's false. Creole is a language. So just because he has an opinion,
we don't have to entertain everything.
Hold on.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is he's a man with opinions.
Everybody
so my thing is just combat the opinion.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Slow down. Let me say something. One, call a name. Who does not have enough intellect to have these conversations? Number two, I never said that I was offended by anything. All I was doing was stating what was what.
But you're speaking for them. You're speaking for them, and you're speaking for them. They can speak for themselves, right? If you don't have an offense to it, why would you even bring it up? Why would you bring it up if you didn't have an offense?
Because I understand what they're saying.
You're defending them. I understand what they're saying too. I never said that.
She's defending Black Americans. She's not specifically defending us. She's defending Black Americans.
I just understand what people are saying and how they feel about things. That's all that is. Now, you came up with this really nice face and smile and stuff, and I was like, oh, he looks so kind. And then you proceeded to call me stupid, and I'm just trying to figure out.
I never called you stupid.
Stupid and emotional.
I never called you stupid.
And I'm just trying to figure out. I had these very nice thoughts about you, and now I'm having very unnice thoughts about you. And I am going to shut my mouth now because I don't enjoy being called stupid, nor emotional, because I was not being emotional at all in that moment. I was just stating what I heard. I understood what people were saying, and all I was doing was explaining that and how a conversation is supposed to go. That's all I did. Now I am going to keep my unkind thoughts to myself. Since you have been so unkind, I will leave you to do that by yourself.
All right. Okay, Bo. Let me say this. I apologize if you took offense to that. That was not directed to you.
That's not an apology.
Damn,
that's not an apology.
He said he apologized.
My statements were not directed to you. All right. So let me just say that directly.
Who were they directed to?
Yeah, call the name. Because who on this panel were you talking to when you said that someone didn't have enough intellect to have a conversation?
Bro, his comments were directed towards Sweeney and Marcus.
No, so you calling us stupid and
No.
It seems more like a generality that people come on to lives and discussions and make comments with the lack of education to make comments on them. I don't think he didn't say anyone's name. He's just saying, generally speaking, people speak on things that they don't have the education for.
Thank you.
And here go Bo over here trying to regulate and tone police. Oh, why we got to say it this way? Why can't you say it this way? I mean, once again, it's just you have these type of people that argue in bad faith, as I stated before. A lot of our FBA brothers, a lot of our FBA sisters, just FBAs in general, these super duper pro-black people, they argue in bad faith, man. Bo, what are you talking about? Nothing that you're saying makes any sense. You're just talking just to talk, man, just so you can play victim. If you feel that it's disrespect, right? If you feel like their remark, once again, which they even understand that, they understand that, hey, but their intentions is not disrespect, right? But I'm gonna make myself as a victim, so I'm gonna take it as disrespect. Like, once again, why not just simply say, hey, well, can you expound on that? What do you mean by that? But no, you have a bunch of these FBA people who will just simply immediately take it as disrespect and cut the whole conversation. And it's like, man, once again, we literally see people up here engaging in idiotic conversations all of the time when you know the woman is being disingenuous, when you know the man is being disingenuous, but we still engage it just for the sake of conversation. And hell, you might learn something. A good example is when you go look at Fatty's channel, when you look at Khan Ali, right? He engages a lot of disingenuous women, a lot of disingenuous women. And guess what? He still, meets them with respect when a lot of these women are disingenuous and disrespectful. So it's very much so possible to be able to have intellectual conversations even when you perceive somebody else to be disingenuous, or when you perceive somebody else arguing in bad faith. Man, we're doing the same thing with you, Bo. We're doing the same thing with you, and we're doing the same thing with Sweeney. He is still having a conversation with you, even though he knows, man, a lot of these people are just arguing in bad faith. Exhibit F as to why I feel that FBA does a little too much. And she's saying that FBAs or African Americans don't have no culture. This is what somebody is saying. That's opinion based. Okay, then once again, it should just be as simple as, why do you feel that way? Once again, why do you feel that way? This is the opportunity you have to educate them. And see, this is the funny thing about a lot of your women. When we look at Stop Playing with Trey, a lot of your women get upset with, Stop Playing with Trey when he has these interviews with these women, right? But yet, if these guys don't have these conversations with these women or whatnot, these women will then be upset and be like, oh, well, you're this and you're that. Y'all don't really want to listen to black women. Y'all don't want to hear us out. But then when we want to hear them out, we trying to give them the platform. They play victim. They don't ever want to freaking play game. They then sit here and say, why y'all worried about us? Why y'all this? Why y'all that? Well, we're giving you the opportunity to show them smarts, right? We'll give you the opportunity to, just to hear you out. And this is how you respect us. This is how you treat the conversation.
Is that your point?
He was talking about people on this panel. He said people on this panel.
He said people come on to the panel. So that means that at any given time that a panel is hosted, that there can be people who are not educated on a topic. That is simply
I'm up here every week. Who do you think? We are all up here every week. Who the fuck do you think he's talking about? I'm just trying.
That could be any given person at any time.
I'm done. See, and that's why I should have left it alone right there. And y'all probably should have left me alone too. Cause let me tell you something. I ain't stupid. Y'all might think I am, but I'm not. And it's real cute. But go ahead with the conversation. I'm done.
Bo, bless your heart.
Like in the
Black American as well.
Like in the Southern.
We know what that means as well.
You know what that means.
That's Black American as well, and we know what that means.
That's
too.
a Black American thing. So Kiana, thank you for clearing that up. So you guys, I'm making a general statement. When you guys play
just know we recognize the disrespect as well.
All right, bless your heart too, Sweeney.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Get that boy some watermelon.
It's very blessed.
I think we're being sensitive.
That boy some watermelon. Calm it down.
Oh, now we're talking about watermelon. Come on, keep it coming. Show us who you are. Show us who you really are.
Hey, Sweeney.
Come on, show us who that. Come on, let it all out that big bald ass head of yours, cue ball.
Why you gotta talk about my head, Sweeney?
Pause.
Come on.
Isaac Hayes wouldn't have said that. You look like him, but you don't talk like him.
And I don't got his money either.
And he dancing to it.
Yo, man, damn, son. I don't know.
What happened? Hey, real dope. I think you about to say something bad.
I bet you that man can drink.
Oh, me?
You about to say something. You about to say something bad. I heard. You about to say something bad. He gonna come in.
Fuck y'all in a horse you rode in on.
And White already know why.
First off, real dope. Where your parents were born first? Everybody else got that established.
I'm a nigga. I'm a nigga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, your parents are from.
Carry on.
Before you start speaking real dope, can you give us the definition of
nigga
culture?
Well.
Of culture. Culture. What is the definition of culture, real dope? So we understand what you're saying. You need to define the term you're about to use.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you what off top what I consider culture to be.
No, look at the definition. No, I don't need.
All right, I'll read it. I'll find it so we can all agree on it. Culture definition. I like to go to Merriam-Webster. Let's go there. The beliefs, customs, arts, etc. of a particular social group, place, or time. Is that good for you? Yeah, so I that's what I consider culture to be. And the reason that I like, and I've said it before, I think that as Black people, I don't think we have a culture outside of art, entertainment, and of course food and our language and stuff like that.
What's the definition, real though?
I said, wait, time out. You can't say that, bro. You just said we don't have anything outside of what the definition is. That's fucking crazy, bro. What are we doing? We just said what the definition of culture is. You said I got nothing else outside of what I just described the definition as. You just read it off.
Outside.
Oh my God.
That was interesting.
So outside of the particular things that I just mentioned, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think that Black people have a set of I don't think we have beliefs that we all agree with. And I'll give you an example. For example, when it comes to I'll use Asian people. Let's say particularly Chinese people, right? I'll use this example again. If a Chinese person comes to America, they have a blueprint on how you do things, how your family works, how all these things work. If you go inside a Chinese store in Philadelphia, you go inside a Chinese store in Chicago, I guarantee you those pictures are the same up top. I guarantee you that menu look the same. It's gonna be white. It's gonna have the red letters and all that type of thing. I think that they have a blueprint for the way that they do certain things. Of course, we all have a common, we all speak the same language. I don't care where you're from. We can understand each other to a certain degree because we Black. We all understand about our hair care and things like that. We all, dress a certain way. We understand our culture over there. But the places where I want culture is when it comes to business, when it comes to, things of prestige. Those are places where I would like to have commonalities. I like to come on these panels and I'd like to agree on things. I'd like to not even have to have these discussions with a lot of things because we have a culture where we already know what's going on. but we don't. We're trying to come up here and we're trying to get it together. We're trying to have conversations. We're trying to agree on things, but also a lot of us don't even agree on how we have conversations, right? That's one of the things that I'd like to have. I'd like to, like, we don't even even when it comes to our women, like a lot of times we had these conversations with our women on the panel, and our women would be like, start talking to us crazy, and we trying to stay diplomatic and just kind of trying to stay stoic, and they talking to us crazy, like these are the things. This is what I mean, right? I'm not trying to offend my brothers and sisters when I say that I don't think we have culture outside of the dancing and the food and all the fun stuff. I think we are the most emulated culture in the world. I think I wouldn't trade being black for nothing because I like being black. I don't want to be white. I think I'm cool. I think I got swag. I think I get bitches. I think all of that type of stuff. I think I'm a good looking guy. I think I'm athletic. I don't want to trade being me for nobody, right? But at the same time, it's things that I think we need to get better with.
I remember showing my mother the video that we just pretty much reacted to about Sweeney and about how he feels that can't nobody really have an opinion about our culture, right? They well you can't have an opinion about our culture. Well, they can't have an opinion about our culture. Why is our culture always a forefront? This that, just very disingenuous, right? We having the conversation, but my mother wanted me to start to skip the parts that Sweeney started to talk, where M. White started to talk, because she said all this did was pretty much turn over into an emotional conversation, right? Now, she was cool with Nathan. She's like, she was agreeing with everything he was saying. But then once you start to hear the FBAs, once you start hearing Sweeney talking, you start hearing M. White talk, it's just all emotion based. And it's like, once again, as I stated before, it's okay if people want to, once again, these same people are cool with allowing people. He even says, man, listen, we are mad diverse. We are very inclusive, right? We allow people to come into our culture. So if we allow people to come into our cultures, I would think that it would stand to reason that they can have an opinion about our culture, especially if they want to be like us. But the whole point is she wanted to get away from the video, right? She wanted to skip over these parts because these people are very emotional. And as I stated before, FBAs tend to be too emotional, and they then prove it here again. They prove it here in another video. That's why we generally don't do back-to-back videos. I try to space them out, but I had to, because I said, oh, no, these dudes are going off. These dudes are going off real. And you would think with them being in the space for a long time, you would think that they would know how to conduct themselves as men, but they don't. And the reason I bring that up is because Bo is doing the exact same thing. She's just tone policing. We're all getting away from the conversation, man. And it's just sad. It just really is, because these are some grown-ass adults. I mean, guys, look, let's just go ahead and read some of these comments, man. Somebody says, the sad thing is a stupid person never know they are stupid. Then somebody else says, Bo inserts herself in dialogue she was not even a part of, and then play victim as if something was done to her. Narcissist to the core. Then somebody else says, man, emotions make people's deaf. Then somebody else says, Bo is always fighting to be offended. She needs to take a nap. Then somebody else says, 3 feminine men on the panel and they're all emotional. Guess who it is? I mean, we already know who 2 of them are, and then we can just call out OG. Sorry. I'm sorry to say. And then somebody else says, they just let anyone get on these panels, shaking my head. Then somebody else says, he called them trigger. They respond like an emotional woman. You can't make this stuff up. That's a fact. So somebody says, notice how Mont essentially relayed the same message that Nate did with no pushback. It's because Nate's not black, and this is the reason why we lose every single day. Then somebody, this is last but not least, but somebody says, thank you, True, Kiana and DJ Hint, for showing common sense and not letting your emotions control your actions. The only thing I found disrespectful was a response from what Nathan said. I would love to know what was disrespectful, right? So then somebody else says, and shout out to you, brother, True Table, right? And once again, bro, I like True. I think he gives a lot of good commentary and a lot of think he drops a lot of great points, right? But I mean, once again, man, we're not going to get anywhere with brothers like Sweeney and and M. White, man, always constantly playing victim, right? But y'all guys let me know down below, man. What do y'all guys think? Do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. Till the next one.